can't stand it, I can't take it anymore, not anymore. No one said that this would get easy. No one said this wouldn't get hard. Brush it off and roll up your sleeves now. It's a shot in the dark till you get what you want.
Welcome to season 4. What's
I can't believe we fucking made
it. We're back. Look at that logo. That logo needs to go. We're all kinds of fucked up. Where are we, guys? We don't know what network we're on. We're back. Spiked College Football Show. Brought to you today by Poland Spring. Poland Spring water. Best water in the game. We have our first sponsor. If I return this bottle, they'll give me 5 cents. So that's a sponsor. So there
That's
you
the way
go.
to start.
There's our first sponsor that we have. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to college football at its finest. 4 guys talking college football, maybe 3.5 because JC's a cripple. But we're talking college football. Guys, I don't know what yours looks like, but I've been doing work. Okay? You see this? That means Phil Steele's ripped, and the pick'em is just shit written everywhere. Because I've been doing my work. I've been in the grind. I gave you a bad pick in Clemson last year. It's not going to happen this year. What's going on, guys? What's new with everybody?
That intro felt really good. It was
good to be back
that again.
Yeah. I can't believe, Tyler, you didn't change your picture or do anything with it. It's amazing.
Nope.
Classic.
Still in there. Still in there until I get a new machine, which should be hopefully soon.
Well, I'm the only one left in Florida. Everybody else moved away. Not that JC and Tyler were ever here. So Johnny bailed on me, but it's okay because we just had a hurricane yesterday. So, we're just fucking making it work.
All right, guys, we're back. Sorry, I'm setting the social. Listen, here's the new backdrop. Look at that. We got the desk. I'm in New York now. I got sports going on. Look at that. I got everybody on the screen looking good. Fresh. All right. We're here to talk fucking college football. Does that look good? That looks fine. Look, I'm on a delay right now. I'm watching us as we talk on a delay. It's fucking fantastic. But listen, we're back. We're going to talk college football. We're going to do it better than everybody else. I have a list of what we're going to talk about. But let's talk about what the hell's going on. I had a kid. Rob's in Florida. I had a kid.
Okay, that wasn't me. He just disappeared.
You know what's sad? He won't realize it for a while.
Well, he has the delay, so he'll see it on his other computer. Oh boy. So Johnny had a kid. I guess I better step in. I'm the godfather, so I should probably this is what I'm supposed to do, right? When he's out of the picture, I gotta step in or some shit.
True godfather-like duties,
Yeah, apparently. It's my first time being called into godfather duty. So while Johnny gets shit together, he and the fam are up in Long Island, and they're having a great time actually. So he is 10,000% happier, healthier, just better than when he was trying to figure things out down here. So I fully expect him to have 75, 80% right, pick him this year, not the 60% bullshit. I'm a teacher now, so I'm expecting at least a passing grade in terms of the percentages that Johnny's going to put up this year.
You're holding him to a high standard.
Yeah, well, I'm saying this so he'll see it on the delay and go, what?
And he's
come
still
on.
disappearing. Come on.
Come on back.
Come on, baby.
Let's go.
Figure it out. Gotta open
Guys,
up your email.
am I there?
No.
We hear you. Do not see you.
You gotta open it up and keep it open on the app.
I don't have the fucking app.
That means the internet.
Oh, my goodness. It's okay. He'll be boxed in. I just saw his phone go. The blackness go vertical for a second.
What's going on?
Week 0, week 1. It's we're not.
It's a
expecting
What is
good
going
people,
on?
right? That's
true.
why. That's why people play the cupcake games, right?
That's right. Though if we want to get into it, I do have a bone to pick, and of course it features, one of my least favorite teams being put way too high up in the rankings to play another team that I think is way too high in the rankings so that they don't have a cupcake game. They'd be like, oh, there's a marquee matchup for week 1. And it's like, I don't know. I guess I missed a lot of episodes last season, so maybe you can tell me whether LSU and FSU are actually good, but I don't think so. How is FSU a top 10 team? They haven't won a bowl game in like 5 years. What?
A lot of hype.
Yeah.
They drink the Brian Kelly Kool-Aid. I don't buy it.
I just don't get it. But it's not just LSU. It's also Florida State, right? It wasn't Florida. It's not Florida versus LSU. It's Florida State, the team that still, I don't think has beaten UF in the past couple of years. I think they lost to UF without a head coach. Didn't UF not even have a head coach, and they still beat FSU in Thanksgiving or whatever? That was last season, right? I didn't hallucinate that.
Well, I don't recall that, but I do know FSU has been struggling, and I
number 9
have
now,
a ranking.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is a pretty wild prediction, kind of out of left field.
That's their preseason ranking of they're a top 10 team, and I'm just like, excuse me. I'd lose my mind if Miami was ranked that high. Like, it's still my team, but I would be like, no, don't do that. No, please don't.
You'd be razzed though. You'd be all like, yeah.
I would not. I would have been like, who fucking, like, how much money did a booster pay them to put them that high just to get sadly disappointed? Like, no, don't do that to us. God.
Yeah, no doubt.
Makes no sense.
Like John.
So
Rule.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to watch that game on purpose, just to be like they're doing it for TV rating.
So
I will watch the highlight.
I had to go back and look at their final record from last year. It was 10-3. Team 10-3 last season coming. Like, I could see if maybe you could make a strong case for a team that, like, okay, yeah, they got a bunch of returning players and great recruits. Maybe get them just inside the top 25, but to bring them all, they're 8 or something like that, aren't they?
Yeah. So for the ACC, they were second behind Clemson, who only had 1 loss last year. Clemson's ranked behind Florida State this year.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't. How is Clemson, who only had 1 loss last year, as an established program, has blah 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 blah, ranked 1 spot behind Florida State, the team that they were clearly better than last year? I think it's because Clemson's not playing LSU this first week.
Right, it's that week. Yeah, the week 1. You gotta.
Yeah, because LSU is like number 11, I think, on that list too, and they're not. That might be reasonable. I didn't see a lot of LSU.
I believe last year was the Florida State beat LSU in that week 1 game, right? So,
correct.
Correct. There is definitely some hype around the game.
Yeah,
I have another game, similarly positioned week 1. Last year, Utah versus Florida.
Everybody shut the fuck up. I'm back. I'm the fucking face of this program. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is bullshit. This is the fucking liberals taking away my thunder because I'm back with fucking heat. This is bullshit. They're trying to shut me down, but I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let it happen. Fuck the MAGA Republicans. Fuck the Antifa fucking liberals. We're back. We're talking college football. What are you guys talking about? What's going on? Where we leave
I thought you were watching us on the stream.
No, I don't listen. I watch me. I don't give a fuck what you guys do. I mean, I love you guys, like, personally. You're my best friends. But, like, professionally, I'm the fucking heat. I throw the 99 down the fucking middle on the block. That doesn't even make any sense because down the middle on the block. Just where do we leave off?
FSU, LSU,
and why
FSU.
Yeah, we're already talking, man.
Where do we do?
FSU, LSU.
You guys, like, I wrote you a script.
Yeah, well, you weren't here.
Yeah, we skipped all that shit because you disappeared.
Just bullshit. But listen, FSU LSU is a hyped up game of two teams that are going to finish. I actually have FSU finishing high. LSU is going to be 9-3. They're going to lose this game. FSU is going to be good only because the ACC is down. We can talk about. That's why I want to do the conference talk first. But you motherfuckers, it's fine. Fine. You want to go right into the game? We're going into the fucking game. It's not a big deal.
We'll go conference by conference. We essentially are doing that.
We just had to kill some time, you know.
Listen, guys.
Yeah, we had to do.
Listen, it's cool. I get it. Like, the quarterback gets hurt for a couple plays. You think you're good enough to come in and play. I get it. It's fine. It's fine. Aaron's back.
No,
okay?
if you want to
back
use
in the green. Aaron's back in the green. He's back at the helm. There's no more Zach Wilson's playing. I'm back. Okay, Daddy's here. Let's talk. ACC. Who's the best team in the ACC?
It's got to be Clemson by a country mile.
Clemson. Should be Clemson.
I told you
It should
I
be
don't know
Clemson.
that.
I mean,
Clemson
It's
by
FSU. FSU is the best. Listen, the best team is going to be okay. I don't think they're the best team. I think they're going to have the best record. I actually have it in here because listen, boys. Like I said, I don't come here to fuck around and think this is fucking funny. And I write a whole fucking script out. I'm here because I think right here, FSU is going 11-1.
with
They're
their
going 11-1.
loss to
Are they the best team? Are they the best team? No. I think the best team is actually going to be Miami this year. And I have Florida State losing to them. But I also have Miami losing 2 games. I think Miami is the surprise team. And I think the most disappointing team is UNC this year. I have UNC as 7-5 or 8-4. But I think FSU runs the table because their schedule is not that difficult. They have this LSU game. They have the Miami game. And then they can run the table.
So you're taking FSU
hold
over LSU is what that sounds like. 11-1.
Yep.
so there's a lot of rain and thunder and bullshit. You know, there's an actual hurricane kind of still fucking around out here. I heard you say that Miami's going to only lose 2 games this year.
Yes, Rob. I have their schedule right here.
Yes, I have it as well in my
went
head.
through and did every single game of every single team. And this is what I have. They're going to beat Ohio, Miami, Ohio. They're going to beat A&M, Bethune-Cookman, Temple, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, lose to Clemson, Virginia, NC State. They're going to beat Florida State. They're going to lose to Louisville because that's what they do. And then they're going to beat Boston College.
We're going to beat the best team in the ACC, but then we're going to lose the next week because we're still Miami. All right, you know, I can get behind that.
You're still Miami.
I hope we
You're
can
going to
beat A&M.
Miami. You're going to Miami.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair. It'd be nice to get to a bowl game.
That's the letdown game against a good team in Louisville. I have Louisville going 9-3 this year. Louisville's a very good team. They're actually going to be Miami and Louisville are my surprise teams in the ACC.
interesting. Okay.
Well, you probably didn't catch this, Johnny, but I told everyone I'm expecting you to be at least 70% right on all your picks this year because as a teacher, you need to have at least a passing grade for my class. So
He's holding you to a high teacher standard.
I will listen. I think last year I went 68%. Units only go up. They'll be back tomorrow. I got to do it tomorrow. We'll be back. I got picks for you guys, but listen. Big Ten. Who is your best surprise and disappointment, Rob?
of people who actually moved to the Big Ten or the people in the Big Ten?
People in the Big Ten. Give me your best team, your surprise team, and your disappointment.
Oh my God. So best team in the Big Ten. It's still probably got to be Ohio State, though maybe Michigan. I don't see Michigan doing it 2 years in a row. I just don't. So they'll probably be a disappointment because everyone's going to expect Michigan, Ohio State to be not only 1 and 2, but both fucking ridiculously high up.
I have Ohio State as my best. I have Nebraska and Maryland as my surprise teams. Nebraska 7-5, Maryland 9-3, and my disappointment being Michigan because Michigan's going to lose 2 games. And
that'll be
Michigan.
a disappointment.
Listen, just like I was right about Will Levis and AR-15. Will Levis sucks, by the way. Have you seen that?
Hold on. Oh, I got something for you.
No, your boy JJ McCarthy. Your boy JJ McCarthy. He's not very good. He had one game over 200 yards. He can't throw the ball. He threw the ball one time against Ohio State because they didn't expect him to. Then guess what? He played TCU, and guess what? He got his dick stopped in the ground. And who was right about Will Levis?
So our fun fact of the day, the OBB fun fact of the day, or the Outback Buck Shack fun fact of the day. Thank you. After all the shit we have talked about him,
Rob, was it shit or was it truth?
No, but it was truthful shit. It could still be shit, right? You could still have a truthful shit. Where did Will Levis go to high school?
Connecticut, Xavier High School, where you went.
Where I went. So he is one of only 4 people from my high school to ever even make the NFL. So now now he needs to do better than he's been doing. Now we need him to do better.
Did you just say one of only 4?
Only 4?
One of only 4? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, so we had one guy in the 70s, and then we had Will Tye for the Giants, a tight end for the Giants, and Amari Spivey from my year make the NFL for like a season, 2 seasons.
James, we didn't go to a real high school. Most high schools will put at least one in. We didn't go to a real high school. We went to like Deer Hunter U. Like there's nothing up there.
I'm just saying, in the 50 years that my high school has been around, putting people out there to try and actually make the NFL, make a squad even, we have had 4, and one of them is Will Levis.
And all he does is throw interceptions. But I don't want to stick on this Will Levis conversation because I was right. I was 100% right. There was no 2 shades of bad. I mean, I was just right. I'll call it how I see it. J.J. McCarthy is this year's Will Levis. Anybody else? Tyler, who's your best surprise and disappointment?
I think Iowa's going to be disappointment.
Can they be worse than last year?
Yeah, because Brian Ferentz is still the OC. That's why.
Yeah, and he's on a count of he has to score a certain amount of points. So.
Yeah, so,
double digits or you're out.
And I don't drink the Cade Nakamura Kool-Aid, so and then a bigger disappointment I think will be Michigan because I think Penn State will emerge out the East. I think.
All right. Big 12, Rob, disappointment, surprise, and best.
Is UCF in there this year?
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
This is the first year, right? That's what I'm making sure. All right. So I already knew where JC's going with this, but I guess I want to see Kansas continue to do well like they did last year. Like I want to see that progress and not it be a one flash in the pan.
We have a very hard schedule.
I know. That's why it's like, so I think it'll still be a surprise if they manage to do it 2 years in a row, but really I just want that consistency. So what is a most improved, stay improved? I don't know. There's not even like an award for what I hope they would have, but so they would be like my surprise, I suppose, just because if we count it versus the last 50 years of their program, to have 2 good seasons in a row would be a surprise. So I hope so. Let's see. I think I'm trying to think of I don't even know who the expectations are on to be a disappointment. That's the thing. I don't really know who's expected to.
I'll run you down mine.
Yeah.
My surprise and my best are actually going to be an 11-1 team from the state of Texas. And it's the Baylor Bears at 11-1.
Wow. Okay, that is a surprise.
I have them only losing to Utah the second game of the year. I have them running the table in the Big 12. Mostly because their schedule is pretty easy. They do have Texas, but that's their toughest game. And by the way, speaking of Texas, the biggest disappointment is going to be Texas this year. Texas is going to go 9-3 this year. They're going to lose to Oklahoma. They're going to lose to Alabama. I think I have them losing to Tech too. I just don't. They're not back. They're never going to be back. Listen, I even have stupid little. Where is he? I
couldn't believe that The Athletic literally asked that question, is Texas back, in their rankings.
He's cute. I get it. Horns down. Down. Just not a big – that's my disappointment. I like Baylor. Their schedule is very easy.
Okay.
Their biggest game is probably the Texas game and then at Kansas State. But I can see them winning those games. They have 13 starters back, including their quarterback. I love the coach. I'm high on Baylor this year.
Will TCU be a disappointment if they don't run the table again and get
I
back
have
into
TCU at 5-7.
That's what I'm saying. But like, would that be a disappointment though after they kind of hit ridiculous heights last year? Because
no,
it's
because
TCU.
I think they lost way too much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
TCU.
I have them at 3-9 this year.
Jesus.
They
So that
only
was
have
the
3 people returning on offense.
Yeah, that's
But that would be my disappointment. You got to hit at least 500 the year after you make it to the playoffs. So
I mean, it's kind of hard to fathom that this Colorado TCU game that opens big noon kickoff is going to be actually competitive. It's a sad thought, but it's a thought.
Does
All
that
right.
end up- does-
Moving on to the Pac-12.
what Pac-12? I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Tyler. Give me your surprise, your biggest, and your disappointment.
I think USC is going to be a disappointment.
Wow, okay.
I think Washington is going to surprise and turn a lot of heads and win the fucking thing. And then the biggest disappointment, I think, will I did say USC for that. And another surprise, I think Utah doesn't do as hot as I would
So
want.
me and you kind of have the same thing here, Tyler. Kind of, in a little bit. My disappointment is actually going to be Utah, Oregon, and Washington.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
I think those 3 teams are going to be disappointments this year, and I don't think that they're going to have like a bad record. I think they're all going to go like 8-4. But I just think that's going to be I think USC is the best team. I just do. They have too much talent, and if they're not, then he needs to be fired, and he just needs to be an offensive coordinator. And I think the biggest surprise is a team that's not going to be in the Pac-12 anymore, and not because they moved. It's because they're staying. And I think Oregon State goes 11-1. They only lose 1 game at Washington State, which is weird. Cam Ward, DJ Uiagalelei. They have 8 guys back on offense, 7 guys back on defense, and a brand new quarterback who can actually make plays. I think they go 11-1 and win the Pac-12.
That'd be a wild move for
Yeah,
Uiagalelei.
I just don't drink the DJ Uiagalelei Kool-Aid.
I drink it because it's not his fault that Dabo ran stupid fucking plays. If you watch the games, he had horrible play calling. Horrific.
They've always been that way.
Yeah.
That's going back to, FSU beating Clemson without Jameis Winston, and they have
But I
fucking.
think if you actually watch DJ play in high school, DJ was a dual threat.
Yeah.
They're going to use him the right way. He had in Clemson, he was a dual threat running power eye football as a quarterback. What are we running like? Why are we running dives with the quarterback? Like, get him out in the open and like let him throw the ball. Sprint him out. It was amazing to see that. So that's my surprise. Rob, what about you?
So I will come back to it. I'll keep coming back to this because it panned out for me last year when I said Utah was going to determine the fate of the Pac-12, and they fucking did, and they ruined USC's chances. I think that Utah in that role will keep doing what they do. I don't expect them to win the whole thing, right? So they're not the best
Cam's
team.
not even playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. No, I know. I don't think they're going to win the whole thing. I don't think they're going to be a powerhouse or anything like that. I just think they're going to keep being the one that plays that kind of, we're going to ruin everything for everybody and be the deciding game for, we'll pick Oregon, for Washington, for USC, for UCLA. Like, you pick a team, and that Utah game, because of the way that they approach it, and it's the same philosophy as last year, right? It's the same quarterback as last year. So I think they're going to continue to be that team, which means that USC is going to be the disappointment only because, like, Michigan's the disappointment. Oh my God, 2 losses, I think that's going to be the disappointment. They still might be the best team, but they'll also be a disappointment.
And who's your surprise? You have a surprise team?
I mean, I'll go with Oregon State. I like DJ. Like, I always thought that he was not only capable of much more, but he would show flashes, and then immediately they'd be like, okay, let's not do that play it again.
Like I said, they have 14 starters back. and they went 10-3 last year.
No, they've
With who
always
is their-
been sneaky good.
With who is their quarterback?
At Oregon State.
Exactly. So, all right, let's move on. JC bailed out. It's all right. Let's move on to the SEC. Rob, go ahead. Best surprise, disappointment.
Can I say that Alabama's back?
I don't hate it. I have Alabama in the championship game of the SEC.
There you go.
So I don't hate it.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't ever say Texas is back on this program, but I feel like we could say Alabama's back.
I think everybody's like still very low on Alabama because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah, and I understand that. That's a totally reasonable thing to be down on. I just maybe this is the season where Alabama is back, where they don't have to rely so heavily on their quarterback. You know, the AJ McCarron years where they still were the best team in fucking football, and their quarterback was mediocre at best.
I mean, they're going to play a Notre Dame guy who couldn't make.
He's mediocre at best. That's the thing. But he only needs to be mediocre, right? Like that's the thing is that I would say that about Tyler is that he isn't going to win you games, but he is going to game for you. He's not going to just disappear.
Rob, I have them going 11-1, losing one game. And it's between
Georgia.
the Mississippi game and the Texas A&M game. I have them losing at Mississippi State.
Oh, okay.
Their schedule's pretty much easy, but that Mississippi at Mississippi State at A&M, it's a little bit of a run.
Yeah.
So I have them losing that game.
Yeah. But I think that this is the year that they are back. Again, for a program like that, it's not, I don't know. It's just a game of inches, right? So I think that they would be the best for the SEC this year. I think that they will quote unquote surprise people who expect, Georgia, etc. I don't know. We'll see. But I think, gosh, so my surprise team out of there this year, what's the surprise? Like where our standards are, right? Like, are they going to
just whatever, just
Vanderbilt's going to win two games and that's going to be a surprise?
As long as you explain your surprise, that's fine.
All right. Well, this so Vanderbilt winning like two games is a surprise, right? So I could be like Vanderbilt wins 2 games this year.
I think their over under is actually 2.5. So you got to go. With that.
Okay. Sorry. 3. So 3. All right. I'll take that action. I think that Vanderbilt will squeak out 3 wins, not in the SEC, just 3 wins for the season.
I think that's. Let me look at. I think that's exactly how many wins. I have them going 3-9.
That's a surprise because 2.5 is their line. So there you go. And then the disappointment at Florida. Florida's going to be a disappointment.
It's funny. I have them beating UNLV, Hawaii, and Alabama A&M. So far, we're on track.
There you go. Hopefully they can beat Hawaii because
they did.
Anyway.
That was last week.
Oh right. There you go. So clearly I have not watched any of the games. So I've been busy watching my high school games because honestly they're probably higher quality than.
Last week the IMG games were way more exciting than the college football games.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
All right. So my best is Georgia. It's just Georgia. My surprise, like I said, I have Mississippi State losing to LSU, and I have them losing to A&M, and I have them going 10-2. They have the most experienced quarterback. Yes, their coach died. I get that. Pirate, I get it. They went 9-4 last year. People don't realize they have made a bowl game every year for over 20 years in the SEC West, being Mississippi State.
Right.
They are the second longest team in the SEC to be bowl streak.
Yeah.
Second longest in the SEC.
Wow.
People forget.
I didn't realize the second
10-2,
longest.
10-2. I have them. I have a very good team. I love Will Rogers this year. They have 14
That is the Bucks top
starters.
tier pack.
They have 14 starters coming back on offense and defense. So Mississippi State is my surprise and my disappointment because they're only going to go 8-4. I guess it's a little bit better, but I mean, with all that talent, A&M. I have A&M as my disappointment because a lot of people think that they're going to go. A lot of people think they're going to go 10-2 or 9-3 or contend in the West, and they're just not.
Well, first of all, rest in peace, Mike Leach. But Mississippi State I feel like the teams didn't take them seriously. Like they did because it's Leach, but also they knew he was going to go for it on fourth down like every time, right?
That's why I love Zach Arnett. That's why I love Zach Arnett.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like him, like sliding in and playing it a little more by the book, but with the talent that Leach had, and just kind of like
a little bit of that edge from Coach Leach. Just like
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
it's fourth and it's we're not on our own end, but it's 4th and 2 from their 35 instead of kicking the field. Let's just go for it.
Well, kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles coach, right? Like I feel like if Arnett's more in that closer to that mold than Leach, where is just who fucking knows, but he's probably going to do the craziest thing you can think of.
Right.
That might benefit them because they're used to that, right? So everybody's used to that, and they kind of have a different standard. But on the flip side, for A&M, Jimbo's not getting any better at coaching. So
the only thing that can help him, they do have the new offensive coordinator. They have Bobby Petrino as their offensive coordinator,
But
who's a complete scumbag asshole, but can coach offenses.
But
so
you know what the news is about that though. We still don't know who's gonna call plays.
Yeah, they're gonna be fighting like cats and dogs.
And that's what I was gonna say.
And that's why I have them losing. I have them losing to Miami week 2.
Yeah, because it'll be like week 1 is good, and then something happens, and then Jimbo's gonna try and take control back, and then it just fucking dissolves into chaos, and all Miami has to do is not fuck it up. And at least I believe the coaches that we have won't fuck it up. I had the pleasure of meeting Coach Mirabal, best offensive line coach in the country. I got to meet him in person, shake his hand because he came out to the IMG spring game. And that dude is so fucking grounded. Like it's really nice to meet someone, even in passing, where I'm just like, you know what? This guy does not take, it doesn't go to his head. And so we have more of those
Miami
guys.
Corner in a minute. I actually have a segment. We have our team corner, so we're gonna do that.
Oh, okay.
Tyler, just give me your picks real quick for the SEC.
You and I are drinking kind of the same Kool-Aid because I was gonna say Mississippi State was my surprise, even with the reinvented offense, that they would definitely be 9-10 wins. I think another surprise is going to be Alabama, but I think it's Georgia's conference to lose.
Yep. All right, now let's just
before we move on,
go ahead.
Since JC isn't here, I have to do his shout out to Mizzou.
Mizzou is on a lot of people's boards. On a lot of people's boards, they're Mizzou. They're not going to do well.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say 500. I was going to say for Mizzou, that's
I have
surprise.
them at 5-7. Yeah, they could go 6-6.
Yeah, I was going to say 6-6, a good Mizzou year, 500, and kind of keep building. That was the shout out.
So we're going to go real quick through the other conferences. We're just going to pick who's going to win. We're going to do the other like the little ones. We're going to go through. So like AAC, I have SMU.
Yeah, they're
agree.
all left. And I love the coach.
I love Rhett Lashley. In the MAC, I have Ohio, even though they just lost. If their quarterback gets back healthy, they just lost to San Diego State. I think Ohio still takes that conference.
Okay.
I think Toledo puts up a fight, but I think, you're right.
In the Sun Belt, I still have my boys because they're still there. The fighting Chanticleers, and they still got my boy Grayson. So give me Coastal Carolina in the Sun Belt.
I had one of my students just commit there for golf or whatever, but I was like, oh, okay, well, chance up. There you go.
Tyler, who do you have in the Sun Belt?
I'll go with that, yeah.
In the Mountain West, they just lost to USC, but it was a close fucking game, and I have San Jose going 9-3 and winning that.
Nice. Yeah,
I like the quarterback a lot.
I can't knock it. Nobody out of the Mountain West is going to be uber strong, like running the table, but
Boise State's always there, though.
Boise State's always there. SDSU is looking to make a statement.
Yep, they're always hanging around.
And I will give you one surprise, though, because we're not supposed to, but Colorado State might go be 500 football team. Colorado State's a good team this year.
They've been quietly a good team, like a tough out, right? They've been losing.
They're building.
They've been losing close games to a lot of teams over the past couple years, and this might be the year where they start winning a couple.
And the last conference is CUSA, and I have Liberty and Jamie Chadwell winning the Conference USA.
Yeah, because they got like the easiest schedule in all of Division One football.
It's very easy. I have them going 9-3 even with the easy schedule.
And a really good coach. So I will shout out to UConn, who might actually play decent ball this year. I still
have
don't
them
think
at
they're
7-5.
but yeah, they're not in a conference still, right?
Nope.
No, yeah.
Yeah, they're independent, but still, I think that they'll go over 500. I hope. Jim Moore, we'll see.
All right, guys, let's move on. We're gonna have this segment in now. We'll do. So I still have futures, and then I have like the betting, and then I have the Heisman top 5 as our draft because it's not really a draft; it's just who we think.
Yep.
Because that's what you have to do in the first week, and then I have the week 1 matchups. So real quick, we'll do our team's corners. So my team. Listen, guys, I told you Sam Hartman last year was a fucking stud. I literally sucked his dick all year. Did I not?
Mm-hmm.
I sucked his dick all. Now he's on my team. Did you see? I know it's only Navy,
Oh
but
my
he only
God.
threw 4 nations in the rain with Audric Estime just pounding Navy's pussy, just pounding the pussy into just impregnating Navy. Notre Dame is a very good. I know it's just Navy. I'm not going to overreact, but Sam Hartman and Notre Dame is a very. They could be 9-3 and lose to the 3 big games they have, and be the best 9-3 team of all. Like they're a very dangerous team. They're dangerous, which scares me because I don't want to get too overhyped. But they're a very good football team because they run the ball, they play defense, and they have a quarterback that knows what he's doing.
So Johnny, I will say, as soon as I saw the game, as soon as I saw Sam Hartman in with the fucking golden helmet, taking the helmet off,
It
beard.
looks like he should have been there the whole time.
But yeah, the beard and everything, I was like, oh my God, Johnny is
Mhm.
he's somewhere without meaning to. He's just like having an orgasm,
But I told you guys that he was that good. I mean, I know.
No, well, I love that. I mean, I'm an ACC guy, right? I fucking love Sam Hartman. I'm just
But
saying that
everybody's like, oh, he can only run the slow mesh and all this other bullshit. He came out slanging.
he can run whatever. Like he puts up fucking numbers. It's just that the slow mesh works for the talent that he had at Wake.
Now we're gonna go to Tyler next because Rob, I actually have a lot to talk about on your team, and I want to keep that for last. So Tyler,
Okay.
I told you Nebraska was one of my teams to look at 7-5 in the Big Ten. Tell me why they're going to be great.
I think with the rule of the time change where they don't stop the clock on first down is going to be impactful and bring back running teams where you just straight run the ball since we're only getting about 10 possessions about every half. So you got to make that shit count. And
I will only give one thing. Your tight end is a psychopath who got arrested.
Well, I mean, he wasn't going to get a waiver from fucking Georgia to play anyway. So it's kind of
what's the quarterback room looking like? How's the talent looking on the offensive side of the ball?
good. It's very. I think our run game is very good. We got Anthony Gratt, who's apparently just a third stringer, just because he can't seem to hold on to the ball. But we got Jeff Sims at quarterback. I think Georgia Tech transfer throws a beautiful ball. Like the spring game, I was just in awe of. It's kind of nice to, have a quarterback who can actually overthrow rather than a shitty quarterback who can underthrow. So So
what's your realistic prediction of their, like, no bias? Give me their realistic prediction.
Compared to the predictions that are being thrown out this week, I'm a bit of an optimistic boy because I think an 8-4 season is gonna be good.
So I said 7-5. So anywhere from 6-6 to 8-4 is like we're right there.
Yeah,
Okay, I think that's fair.
I'm a bit of because I think we'll lose at least 3 of the games, but I think we'll lose an additional one that last minute shenanigans will happen. And
Okay.
just
I actually have Notre Dame going 11-1, but I mean that's my fandom. I have them really going 9-3 because they have Clemson, FSU, and Ohio State. I mean, come on. That's not
Hartman's
fair.
got Clemson's number. That's the thing. I'm on board with higher than 9 wins if you're worried about them losing to Clemson, because Hartman, of all the quarterbacks in the entire fucking country, has gotten there and put them
He
in
threw
like the
7
last
touchdowns
gasp.
against them last year.
Yeah. No,
7.
he threw up a ton, and he's always like down to the last gasp, like overtime, whatever. Like he's always got their number, and that was with Wake Forest level talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he had even like a comparable defense last year,
Right, and that's the thing. That's what Freeman's there for, right? That's what your coach is. That's his job, is to have a good defense. So it's like, all right, let's see it. I do believe that they'll do really well against Clemson, but we're also relying on Dabo Swinney calling shit plays, so that hasn't changed either.
All right, Rob, let's get into Miami corner.
Okay, so here's the deal with Miami corner. We should have, going along the lines of what TA was talking about, and I was able to chart out with Gridiron Grandmasters how many possessions we were getting. We were up around 13 per half with kind of that higher paced offense. We had 13 possessions each half, give or take 12 or 13 per. So we have an offensive line, at least we have the talent on the offensive line to do exceptionally well at controlling the ball. If we are able to do that this year, I believe that the sky is the limit for this team, because
Rob, I think that you guys are going to be the surprise of the year. You have 19 starters back, including a Heisman contender of last year, but Josh Gaddis, like I told you he was. I told you this before the season. He was a fucking cocksucker. He ruined your season last year. He ruined Tyler Van Dyke. Tyler Van Dyke is now going to play a pro-style offense where they run the ball on first and second down, and they have a play-action game where he can now open it up.
Right.
I think they're going to be fucking fantastic. I think their running game is going to be a top 20 running game. I don't even know who their starting running back is going to be. I think it's going to be Parrish.
Well, that's the thing. We have Parrish, and then we have we have a bunch of guys, because whenever we were like, ooh, this is the guy, he would get hurt, right? So that was the thing that we...
And don't you have Restrepo coming back?
Restrepo is back.
Do you have the receiver that you have that you can trust in?
He came back at the end of last season, but then Tyler was kind of hurt, and they weren't back in sync, right? Because they didn't have the whole year of getting those reps.
I think it's going to be a very, very, very fun pro-style, run the ball, New York Giants type, like New York Giants Phil Simms type offense, where they're going to run the ball, and the play action is just going to be right there.
Well, so here's the thing, is that I'm expecting our offense to be much more pass heavy than we were last year.
Really?
I do.
With that offensive line?
Well, this is the thing, is that I would love to see that kind of offense. I'm not a huge fan of the Phil Simms Giants offense, but
I think that's how good your offensive line is going to be. You're still going to run out of shotgun, but I think your offensive line is just going to be so fucking good that I think you're just going to maul people.
Yeah, no, I hope so. We're relying heavily on a couple very young guys, right? So it's like Samson Akunla is going to, I think he's second string right now, but he'll be in the rotation. And Francis Mauigawa out of IMG, I think, is the starter right now. So we're relying really heavily on those guys to come out and immediately start pushing around people, a couple years older than them, having longer to get in the weight room, stuff like that. I think they can do it. They're definitely talented enough. It's just, I got to see it to believe it, right? And I'm not going to see it against Miami of Ohio. I'm going to see it against A&M. If they're pushing around that line.
So here's your schedule. Home against Miami, Ohio. A&M at home. Bethune-Cookman at home. At Temple. Week off. Home against Georgia Tech. At UNC. Home against Clemson. Home against Virginia. At NC State. At Florida State. Home against Louisville. At Boston College. Realistically, what is their record?
So this team could easily lose 5 games, actually. We could go 7-5 after going 5-7 last year. And honestly, I could tolerate that after ending up under 500.
That's A&M, North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State, NC State.
Yeah, NC State. Yeah, because those are away games, right? UNC away, NC State away, Florida State away. That's tough. I don't expect us to lose to A&M, but then again, we got to actually see a game out for 4 quarters, which you've never fucking done.
So give me their. So you think their floor is 7-5?
I think our floor is 7-5. If we end up
What's
at
the ceiling?
500 or
I have
below,
their
it'll be a
ceiling-
very.
I have their ceiling at 11-1. I have them going 10-2.
I understand. We should be able to win 10 games. I'm fine. Again, if we win 9, I'll be unbelievably happy. I will be talking so much shit. And God, if we beat Florida State in Florida State after they started the season top 10, you will not get me to shut up about it.
You do know that you have like the most returning players.
Yeah.
In
This is the problem. And we have a lot of returners, even with a lot of transfers and all that stuff. Like, that's great. It doesn't mean that the experiences they've had the past couple years have set them up for success unless they actually bought in.
Right.
That's the thing. That's what I was like kind of going back to the
But
coaching.
the way that
right?
he was kicking people off the team and
I know.
his coaching that he brought in, I'm really high on him this year.
Yeah, no, well, but it's only year 2. This is my thing. Is like year 2. Like, I expect our freshmen to be good this year and great next year. You know what I mean? I don't expect our sophomores, juniors, the guys who Manny Diaz brought in, to have so bought into all of this and actually change the way that they approach things. Like, for example, I love James Williams. He's an amazing athlete. If he learned how to tackle this year, then we will be unfucking stoppable on defense. Because the guy can line up anywhere. He's 6'8", like 6'5", fucking athletic as hell. And he always just threw a shoulder every single time. Right. That's just so, like, if he bought in and actually did even something as simple as that, wildly different than he's done in years past, then I'm sold. But I need to see that offensive line dominate against A&M and their very, very talented defensive line and front 7, who are always like top recruiting classes. If we dominate that level of talent,
you should, because they're young too, which could help you guys get confidence.
Sure,
to dominate dominate a good defensive line, but they're still young, so it'll give you like the confidence to move on the rest of the year.
Right.
I think that's a big game. I think the winner of that game has a great year. The loser of that game,
not so much.
Their coach
already
might get
disappointed.
Fired. Their coach might get fired.
Well, and that's the thing is, Mario's going to get a year after this anyway. He's going to get another year after this, unless we end up with another 5-7 record. And I don't see us losing 7 games. Then again, I didn't see us losing to fucking, Kentucky last year. So, whatever. We're here.
Middle Tennessee State.
Middle Tennessee, whatever.
All right, so
fucking blue team from middle of nowhere.
So that was the Homer 20 minutes. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Rob loves Miami. Tyler's Nebraska.
Clearly scarred for life. Yep. Clearly scarred for life
cool.
and just super cynical over here.
So let's do our draft, our Heisman draft. Not really a draft, but just everybody. Let's just give everybody our top 5 Heisman. I can go first if you guys want to think about it first.
Yeah, go first, and then we can tweak.
My top 5 Heisman candidates right now, as we sit: Caleb Williams at 1, obviously. Travion Henderson, because I have Ohio State going undefeated, at number 2, and they don't have a quarterback yet. I think McCord just got named quarterback. But Travion Henderson, they're going to go back to running the ball. Travion Henderson is unbelievably talented. I think he is number 2. Now, if Florida State wants to be any good, now I could be totally wrong on this spec, but if Florida State's going to be Florida State, Jordan Travis has to be Jordan Travis throwing the ball to Johnny down the sideline. Jordan Travis, number 3. I have Will Rogers at number 4. I told you I think he's going to have a big year. I can see him not winning the Heisman, but getting to New York, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then number 5, if Miami's going to be Miami, they need to have that. They need to have that big white dude right there in the back, throwing it to all their weapons. And I have Tyler Van Dyke at number 5.
So, a lot of homer picks in there, but
was there homer picks? I didn't pick one Notre Dame guy.
Guys that you have always been high on, and also you're a Miami homer too.
Oh, low-key, I have Sam Hartman and
there you go.
Spencer Rattler. Listen, right there too.
I forgot he was still in college. All right, so here, I mean, I do like him at Carolina, but anyway, here's the thing: I don't see a way, given the state of both of those programs, and given the state of how poisonous those fan bases are, and the voting is very important, and blah 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 blah, that those supporters are. you are not going to have an actual top 5 where both Jordan Travis and Tyler Van Dyke are in.
Oh
New
no,
York.
those are just my 5. Yeah, those are just
Yeah,
my
yeah.
5.
I'm only saying that because if I have to pick one, I'm picking TBD. So like between those two, Jordan Travis will not make my top 5 because I'm not hedging my bet that way.
Is
I
there
have to
anybody else
believe.
in college that we're like missing? I guess if JJ McCarthy has a great year in Michigan, even though I'm telling you he's not going to. But if Michigan goes undefeated somehow, even if he's not great, he'll be in New York.
So hold on. I should know this, but who has been named the starter for Alabama as a running back this year?
Let me look. I'm not sure. I'll look real quick.
Yeah, because I know they have a bunch of, they always have, people, but that's going to be my dark horse.
Jace McClellan Jr.
He's the starter. Okay.
Yeah.
So if my bet on Alabama being back is this year, and it happens, it's going to be because of him, not because of the quarterback. And I think that he will be the one who gets invited. And again, a kind of a throwback, right, of the Alabama running back doesn't win that Heisman.
The Mark Ingram era.
Yeah, the Mark Ingram era, right? The
DJ Yeldon,
Derrick Henry, era. That wasn't that long ago, right? Like, it obviously feels like a long time because then they had a bunch of quarterbacks in a row who are all going every year. But I think this is that throwback year where Chase is going to at least be in that top 5, show up to New York and find out whether you won or not. Whether he actually wins depends on whether Alabama actually goes undefeated, beats Georgia, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think that's necessarily happening.
who are we forgetting?
Yeah, so that's it.
You're on mute, bud.
My bad. I think you gotta give. I think Michael Penix Jr.'s got to be in there. Has to be.
If Washington's going to win games, you're right.
Statistical leader of all things passing from last season, and I just think he goes to New York if Caleb Williams goes to New York.
They can both go. I can see that.
I just don't. I think it's a platform with them two, and I think the third person that goes to New York is up for grabs, and I think the other 2 will get honored, or the other 3 will get honored, is honestly up for grabs.
I mean, we're also forgetting Drake May of North Carolina. I mean, the team's going to suck, but he could just go and have like a 5,000-yard passing. Like he could.
I almost was going to be all like, you did Drake May dirty when you said UNC.
No, I love him.
Yeah.
Their defense is so bad.
Yeah. But I just think it's Caleb Williams.
And the Heisman is no longer the best player. It's who's the best player on a top 10 team.
Right.
And that's the thing is, like, UNC would have to be challenging for the ACC title for Drake to be in that. And so would TBD for that matter.
For him to win it, he could go to New York, but for him to be a top 2, UNC needs to be in the ACC championship game at least.
And he's a sophomore this year, so I don't even think they give him the invite this year. Keep him hungry.
Or if UNC somehow upsets Clemson, and Drake may have a moment from that.
Yeah.
See that just catapulting him.
Yeah, but they play pretty late in the year, right? So that's the hard part. Is he'd have to put on a Sam Hartman sort of level of stuff, and even Sam never actually got invited to. I don't think he's ever been a top 5 Heisman candidate.
I think he's been in the top 8.
Yeah, and he's thrown up so much shit, and even that wasn't enough for him at Wake. Maybe because it's UNC and not Wake Forest, and therefore a more storied program. Blah blah blah. The politics behind it, maybe, but still, he'd have to be Sam Hartman level at that point in time. It's possible. He's really a good quarterback, but he's also the reason why I think he might lose there.
Those are our Heismans. All right, guys. I have some futures I want to give. Units only go up will go out tomorrow. I'll have it out. It'd be nice. But I like Akron over 3.5 wins. They have Joe Moorhead as their coach. I have them winning 8 games. I have Kentucky under 6.5 because fuck them. I have Mississippi State over 6.5. I have UConn over 4.5. I have a whole bunch, but those are just like my big futures. Miami over 7.5. And I actually have Tulane under 9.5. Those are like my big boy futures. I'll have more tomorrow on Units Only Go Up. But let's talk about right now the week 1 big matchups, and let's pick the big matchups. We'll go right down the list, and we'll see what you guys have to say.
Mhm.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have like 9 games. That's it. So, and then we can wrap it up. Florida, Utah tomorrow night. Florida at Utah. Who
Utah.
do you guys have?
Utah all day.
I'm gonna be writing. I have Florida.
I'm sorry, I can't back anything that Ben Sass is a president with.
A, yeah,
love,
A 100% yes, but B, I don't see Florida like just how Utah didn't handle the shit coming down to the fucking humidity. I don't see Florida doing well going out there with the time change and the dryness and all that shit. I just don't
I think the
they're gonna
quarterback being out and maybe the running back being out, and
That's fair.
everybody's very high on Utah. I just have Florida doing it. I just do.
God, they're gonna be
Next-
insufferable. I'm glad I'm not on
next
Twitter or whatever the
game.
fuck you call it now.
Monday night game, Florida State, home versus LSU.
I would love to see poetic justice and see LSU win on a field goal.
Now I'm picking Florida State, but it scares the shit out of me because everybody's picking Florida State.
Mhm.
I want that to be noted, but I'm not gonna twitch it. But I want that to be noted. I like Florida State.
Florida State should win. This should not be a contest. Not even because Florida State's a top 10 team, because that's
LSU's
bullshit.
best players not playing.
Yeah.
LSU, I think they got lucky last year. I don't know.
Well, but I mean, Florida State beat LSU last year, right?
Yep.
And that was luck. That was a shit show of a game. But they've got them both ranked as like number 8 and number 11 or some bullshit. And I
Five
think it's like 5 and 8.
Yeah.
5 and 8. Oh my god. Like, so yeah, that's right. 5 and 8. And isn't Clemson 6 or something like that? Like, this is
7th,
just,
I think. Yeah.
ninth.
9th.
oh my god, I cannot fucking handle. This makes no sense. Like, I get that they have
Preseason
talent.
rankings are stupid, Rob. We all know.
Right. But so my point is that no matter how this game goes, we're all going to lose because one of those teams is going to remain in the top 10 when I don't think either of them belong there. They're like top 15. Sure. Maybe Florida State's top 15. I would say LSU maybe, but you're sending them up so fucking high.
And make sure you guys are keeping track of your picks because we'll keep track all year. I'm just dashing mine out. UNC at USC, South Carolina. I have Spencer Rattler is the guy that he was the last 2 games, not the first 10. Give me South Carolina.
It's in South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
As soon as they fucking do Sandstorm, UNC won't even be able to make it out of the tunnel.
It's William Bryce Stadium. It's South Carolina. North Carolina does not have a defense. South Carolina's defense isn't great either.
Right.
But I'm going to say Spencer has a Heisman moment.
I mean, it's against UNC. Okay, fair enough. I was like, that's not really a Heisman moment, but I think just
For
like
that rivalry, it's huge.
Right.
For that.
right. Well, this is just like the team that has to go to Virginia Tech. The first like Clemson did right after COVID for that first time to hear Enter Sandman. Like you are going to have the opening. You're showing up for the first iteration of Darude Sandstorm at Lee Bryce. Like you're not going to do well.
Yeah. Tyler?
Oh, I'm sorry, you got me pumped because I'm going to Virginia Tech Pitt. So
Ooh, that's going to be a great game.
I'm pumped. So, like when you said Virginia Tech, I totally blacked out. Totally forgot.
UNC, USC.
I'm kind of torn because Spencer Rattler was under Marcus Satterfield. Marcus Satterfield's now our offensive coordinator at Nebraska. I want to go UNC.
Okay. Next big game. Colorado at TCU.
Like it's going to be competitive according to TA. So
I'm
taking Colorado.
I'm not a tiny baby buff fan. No,
and that's only because I think they have the better quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, but it's just like me going for UF and FSU, man. I'm from Colorado State, right? I was born in Fort Collins. I can't be rooting for the Buffs.
Right. I just don't like TCU. Their fans they thought they were so great. Like I said, how many times did he last year? horseshoe out of their asshole. They're not. They weren't. They were a 7-5 team that somehow went 12-0 and went to the playoff and beat a bad. And that's why Michigan sucks so much, is because Michigan lost to that team.
Yeah,
Next,
I mean,
so wait. You guys are both going TCU?
I got to go. Wait, and they're playing at TCU, right? They're not playing in Colorado.
No,
Yeah, I it's not that it can't happen. It's that it shouldn't. It shouldn't. You shouldn't allow the Buffs to come in and do that to you. And if it is, then they should be going 0-12, not,
I have
not
them going
3 wins,
3-9.
0 wins. I know, but I'm saying not 3 wins. That's a 0-win season if you let that happen opening week, especially against Colorado the way they've been recently.
I'm
Oh
going.
yeah, Tyler.
I'm going TCU because friends don't let friends, but pick the Buffs.
West Virginia at Penn State.
Oh, come on.
I think Penn State wins this game, but I think, like Lee Corso used to say, a little bit closer than the experts think. I think it is. It's a rivalry.
What's
Having
the
lived
line?
in Morgantown for 6 months, College Station's only 2.5 hours away. It's a bigger rival. It's a rivalry that you don't think. It's like an old 90s and 80s rivalry. I think the dads will be drunk in the stands. They'll be fighting each other. I think Penn State wins closer than the experts think, especially in the first half.
What do you think the line is on it?
I think it's 12.5.
Yeah, he's right at 12.
I could see a 10-point win. I could see it.
But I think the first half line is probably 6.5, and I would hammer West Virginia first half. Hammer.
I agree with that. I definitely think they'll keep it close for the first half. I agree with that, but Penn State's winning that game.
But Paul Brown's not a good coach, so they'll lose. But
Yeah.
so you guys all are on Penn State?
Yeah.
Okay. Nebraska at Minnesota. I'm taking Nebraska. I already told you why. Tyler's taking Nebraska. Rob, why are you taking them?
That's what I was like. You got to let the actual Nebraska fan, the tired.
Minnesota, I'm sorry. Everybody's really high on them going 8-4 this year. And having done the research, I've done the research, they lost a lot. And what did they really get? They lost their quarterback. They have a sophomore starting at quarterback. I think they're a 5-7 team. I don't think they're that great.
This is the thing, though, that scares me about this game, because Minnesota played in their bowl game against Syracuse. Syracuse is DC. Tony White is now our DC, and so they ran the 3-3-5 at Syracuse.
They did, yes.
And
Who I have going 10-2, by the way.
Minnesota, so just for the pure fact that Minnesota has already seen the 3-3-5 that essentially Tony White's going to run, makes me a bit weary. This is one of those games in my book where, yes, I want us to win. Yes, I'm going to pick us to win, but can some crazy shenanigans shit happen in the last fourth quarter and make us lose? Yeah, Scott Frost style. I can see that happening. So, yeah.
What's the line for that game?
6.5.
I think it's 6.
6.5.
Yeah.
It's 6.5.
I think it's definitely going to be closer than 6.5. So, and for that, I would be betting, against the line. Here's what I'll say about that 3-3-5 and all of that, because I followed Syracuse pretty closely as well.
Guys, I have Syracuse going 10-2 this year.
Yeah, no. Well, so here's the deal. While Minnesota might be ready for the 3-3-5, is their defense ready for Jeff Sims? And I'm not saying that in he's such a great quarterback. I've been watching him for years play for Georgia Tech. He has an absurd amount of talent in terms of what he can do.
It needs to be harnessed.
But he needs to be harnessed. And so if anybody can do that, it would be Scott Frost. I don't know, with enough time. That's the
Matt
line.
Rule's the new coach.
Matt Rule.
Oh, right, Rules. That's right. You went and got Matt Rule. I totally I forgot to text you when.
Yeah, Marcus Satterfield's our OC.
Which Marcus Satterfield,
right?
He I don't know. I think it's a good fit.
So that's the thing, is I'm willing to go with Nebraska on this because I don't think Minnesota is ready for Jeff Sims. Not that Jeff Sims is the greatest quarterback ever, but he's a wildly different quarterback than most Big Ten quarterbacks.
He's better than AR-15 was in college, with the same kind of attributes.
But I was just putting that out in the ether. That
Throwing, definitely. Sims, but his arm is way more accurate. when he wants to be,
That's what I
when he
mean.
sets his feet. AR-15 just kind of lobbed it in there. So
All right, guys. Coastal Carolina at UCLA, minus DTR, minus Zach Charbonnet. I'm taking Grayson McCall because what happens is every time Coastal Carolina goes on the road against Power 5 teams, they win.
that's
And
true.
whenever Chip Kelly plays against teams that he should always beat, it always comes down to a field goal. They usually win. I'm saying they lose. Give me Coastal. They should have lost last year to a very good team in Southern Alabama,
What's the spread?
who I think is going to be great this year too. But I like Coastal in this game.
Yeah. Well, especially because Chip Kelly hates kicking field goals, so that's why it always comes down to a field goal because they're just like karma's like you have to win on this field goal now.
Not just that, they haven't found a reliable kicker ever since Chip's been there.
But I'm saying that's because everybody knows he doesn't like to kick field. That was back to Oregon days. Chip Kelly never wanted to kick field goals. Like that's just been a thing for his entire career. So why would you, as a kicker, want to go play for a guy who refuses to use your talents? I wouldn't. So it's that simple.
I think the line
I
is
want
probably
the
right.
chance to win.
What's
my
the
God.
line at, Tyler? Like 8.5?
I just found it. It's loading. Oh. Yeah, it went down to 8.
Dude, I'm like right on. I haven't even looked. I am right on these books.
Yeah,
I would love to see Carolina actually win it outright. I think they win by if they lose, I don't think they lose by more than a touchdown. But I would love to see them pull that shit off. God
Tyler,
damn.
who are you taking? Rob's taking Coastal on the points.
I'm going to ride with him because I like that.
Okay.
If they
Next
win
big
outright,
game.
I'm going to be more hyped than anything that Miami's done in recent memory.
Boise at Washington.
Washington.
I'd have Washington too.
Yeah, Washington.
Washington.
as well.
Boise still, it's weird to say because they've been there forever, but they're kind of a building program. And I don't think they're in the position, like based off of what I saw last year from them, I don't see them in a position where they're coming in and so catching Washington unawares. It's not like Washington doesn't know that they exist as a program. You know what I mean? They're not coming down to like an SEC school and playing, or Oklahoma, if we go all the way back in time, and catching a team unawares that should know better. Washington knows who's coming to town.
Santa Claus. Next
Blue and orange Santa Claus with that fucking blue field.
next game. South Alabama at Tulane. I have South Alabama because they have 18 guys returning, and they almost beat UCLA. They went 10-3 last year. Their defense is fucking phenomenal, and they play tempo. I love South Alabama here. Like, I love South Alabama.
Was their quarterback one of the returning starters?
Their quarterback is coming back. He's a senior, Carter Bradley.
Yes, because I remember watching him play and being extremely impressed by how well he ran the tempo offense. Not just that
Poised.
he
The word is poised.
right, and that was the thing is that very athletic, very they were very dynamic, but he was in charge of that offense, and that really, really impressed me. So if he's coming back, I absolutely think that they will. Well, again, Tulane should know better, but they won't, even though they're not that far away from each other. I don't think Tulane would have been prepped for South Alabama before the season started.
Tyler?
I'm a Tulane hardo, but you got to go South Alabama. Tulane's kind of in a rebuild.
And those are all the guys. Want to pick any more games? Those are the other game. I don't have any more. I mean, there's a lot of other games, but those are like the headline games that I picked out for week 1.
I say, you think you did a good job.
By the way, I have some surprise teams. I have Syracuse 10-2, South Alabama I have going very well. Ohio I like this year. Akron, their win-loss is 3.5. I have them going over. So I think it's just going to be very interesting in college football. I think like 10 through 50 is going to be very close this year in like the rankings.
Just in time for us not to see the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, like I love James Madison this year.
Mm.
I think Georgia Southern's going to be a decent team.
I'm not surprised by UConn's win total being very low, but I would love to see that higher. and maybe put some money on that. So I'll let you know, Johnny.
I have their win total over, and I will tell you, I will go to their schedule right now while Tyler is looking if he wants to do any other games.
This is a fun one. So Northwestern Rutgers.
That is fun.
Does it hit the 43-point over under total?
I'm going to take the under on that one, bud.
That's what I'm thinking too.
If it hits the over, I think Northwestern wins.
Wow. So, Rob, I went and picked for your UConn Huskies, whose win total is 4.5. I went down. Here's their schedule, and I have them winning 9 games. 9. I have them beating NC State tomorrow. Because NC State has a new quarterback in Brennan Armstrong, who I fucking hate, who I thought was terrible at Virginia. Then I have them losing to Georgia State, winning against FIU, beating Duke, beating Utah State, beating Rice, beating USF, beating Boston College, losing to Tennessee, losing to James Madison, beating Sacred Heart, and beating Massachusetts. Now, that's a little bit of me actually liking Connecticut. Now, if I'm going to be like a real realist, their win total is over. Their win total is, let me look real quick. Their win total for UConn is 4.5. I can get you 5 wins. FIU, Utah State, Rice, Sacred Heart, and Massachusetts is 5 wins right there. Those are guaranteed. That's a guaranteed lock win, UConn.
It should be. Now, the only thing I'm going to have an issue with, and the reason why I throw out there,
17 starters back from a team that went 500.
as long as those starters stay healthy, we'll be fine. I remember our quarterback had a lot of injury issues last year, and that's what really made it tough for us to keep any sort of consistency. So that is if those starters, especially, the high value ones, stay healthy for the entire season, then we should be good. But we could struggle if we have like a true freshman getting thrown in there like we did last year, even against Sacred Heart and UMass. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we should have that trouble by the end of the season, but that's what could screw us out of those easy wins at the end of the season. But I still think we should get 5.
I have another little bit of a surprise. I have FAU going 9-3. You know who FAU's quarterback is?
Yes.
Casey
I do.
Thompson.
Who is it?
Well, I think it's still in Kosi, isn't it?
It's Nkosi Perry. And
Yeah.
I think he has a hell of a
Cozy guy.
second year in the FAU offense. And I have them going 9-3 this year.
Yeah, Kosi's still there. So, and he lit it up last season. The problem was he was inconsistent, which has always been his problem.
I think he's going to have a fantastic senior year.
Yeah, they didn't have any issues with offense really last year at all for FAU. Not that they blew them out. They weren't throwing up a fuck ton of points every time, but he never struggled for scoring. It's just he didn't necessarily score when they needed him to. So hopefully he gets that consistency finally. He's like 5th, 6 years in, and I always liked him. So I'm glad that he's still got that starting position.
Florida Atlantic, right?
Yeah. The Owl.
It's Casey Thompson's job.
No, it's Nkosi Perry's the starter.
Then why am I reading an article that says Casey Thompson wins FAU starting job?
Did he really?
Yeah.
And
I
he
take
better
my
be
money-
more consistent than Perry, because Nkosi's been sticking around. He's almost.
I take my money back then. I don't like that. I don't like Casey Thompson at all. I'm taking my money off the table with that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. He says he wins the starting job. Over.
It's terrible. Guys, anything else you want to talk about in the college football world right now?
I'm just going to go out and say that if the preseason rankings are any indicator of the bullshit that we're going to get when it comes playoff time, then I will politely sit out the discussions about that shit later on. I don't need to get engaged in that nonsense.
I guess we can end this on who do we have in the playoff? I have USC, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State.
I would only quibble with. Well, okay. So no one from the Big 12.
No.
That's a huge.
Even though I
thing.
have Baylor going 11-1, I think that an 11-1 SEC team in Georgia only losing one game to Alabama in the SEC championship game is better than Baylor, because I have Georgia only losing to Alabama in the SEC championship game.
I would put the Big 12 champion over USC because I think USC is going to be the disappointment. They're going to lose enough to not make it again.
I have them going 11-1, so that's
what I mean. If they lose to Utah,
right. But do you agree that 11-1 in the Pac-12 is more impressive this year than the Pac? Yeah, I think the Pac-12
11-1 in the Pac-12 this year is better than 11-1 in the Big 12. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think 2 wins. You're right. 2 wins. You're right.
Yeah. That's what I'm. That's the only thing I'm changing on that one. So, but we'll see. It'll be interesting.
And guys, I don't know. Everybody's hard on Texas. We'll see. I don't think Texas has
No one's
this
hard.
year.
Not on this fucking show.
Oh,
Ever. Texas is not back. The fact that the Athletic asked that question in their article of preseason rankings was like, you're fucking full of it. It's their first season in a new fucking conference, the hardest one in football, and you think they're back? Shut the fuck up. Ridiculous.
So real quick, couple shout outs. We do have our new website, which I will be blogging now every week, On the Card Sports. It's a fantastic website Tyler created. It's beautiful. OnTheCardSports.com, right? Is it .com?
yes.
OnTheCardSports.com. Check out our Twitter. It's at OTC Sports 77 or search On the Card Sports. Our link tree. I've made a link tree. So if you go on our Twitter, it's OTC Sports 77, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. I'll be making TikToks. I'll be doing our homepage is there. Our YouTube is there. Our Spike College Football Show. Everything will be right there for you guys. It's going to be streamlined. We're going to hit it hard this year. I'm going to be doing lots of TikToks every fucking week. Sorry we didn't do week 0. Had a lot of shit going on, baby. Now we're locked in. All units only go up. We'll be going out every single week on Friday. This week it'll be going out tomorrow because the games, they're having the early games. So I will have early units only go up tomorrow. I'll be filming with that. And then also, if you'd like to contribute to writing on the blog, let me know. You can write. Because you know what? Fuck these guys that fucked me over at Gridiron Heroics. Bunch of fucking cocksuckers who never paid me. I had the most views. They don't fucking pay me. I got put on fucking Athlon Sports. They didn't pay me. I was on Yardbarker. They didn't fucking pay me. I was getting quoted on ESPN. They didn't fucking pay me. My power rankings will come out every week for my website because fuck them. I was getting a lot of fuck them. They're all a bunch of assholes. And now they have this new fan buzz shit that I'm not going to be a part of because I have an attitude. Fuck you. I know college football. I'm your baby mama's favorite gambler, your wifey's favorite bookie. I know the picks because I have the proof and it's in the fucking pudding and it's on the fucking dot and it's on the record. So fuck you people. I'm the best at college football. I'm the best at what we do. We have the best team here. Let's go. College football starts tomorrow. I love it. Let's go, boys.
Let's go. TA, you want something? You want to go next?
No, I'm good.
It's just really good to be back. So I'm going to do my analysis that I do. Probably won't be posting on YouTube too much. It's kind of hard to be making a lot of content with my name attached to it when I'm also teaching kids who may or may not be getting drafted into the NFL. So I'm just trying to toe that line. So I'm just going to be on here talking my shit. Check out the link tree. And yeah, I might blog a bit as well, Johnny. Only if you pay me, though. I'm just kidding.
As soon as we get paid, well, everybody getting paid because there's 3 of us. Because now there's only 3 of us, and now we can do it. I love that we have our own shit. Listen, we're for gamblers, by gamblers, gambling, sports, college football. This is what we do. We're locked in now, guys. Locked, loaded. I ain't doing shit on Saturdays. I told the wife, listen, lady, love you, but from 11 a.m. on Saturday till Sunday at like 2 a.m. when the Pac-12 After Dark is over, you can't talk to me. You need to raise your hand, and if you don't say, I have a sandwich, then I'm not going to respond. Okay? If it's not, here's a sandwich, king, and then you can ask a question. Otherwise, I love you, but shut the fuck up. Go raise the child. I'm busy. Love you guys, but it's college football time.
You
It's all
mean
about priorities.
you're gonna come join me at Mountain West Nightcap and watch Hawaii games?
Always. I'm going to be gambling. I'm so fired up for the season, boys. I'm so fired up that we're back. Season 4 on the Card Sports. We're now on the Card Sports Spiked College Football Show. We are sole proprietors. There's 4 of us, but we're sole proprietor. Don't worry about how that works out. We're quad
Don't worry about the
proprietors.
legalese. We're good.
Quad proprietors. That's what we are. We're here for the love of the game, and we bring you the best. We are just normal dudes who do better than these morons like Casey Smith, these morons like fucking Katie Stats, who's fucking terrible. Guys that cover 3 are awesome. Josh Pate's awesome. Brandon Walker's awesome. Joel Klatt's a fucking hack. Everybody at ESPN's a fucking hack. We are the best at what we do. Josh Pate's really good, though, too. Thank you.
All right. Well, then, as always, until next time, we got to do it, right? Let's keep it spiked right here, guys. Bam.